So Trump won the election. What does that mean for people in crypto? Hi, my name is Mark. I'm the founder of the Bitcoin Tutor, and today we'll cover a few of the things that are likely to happen now that President Donald Trump will be taking office as President of the United States. Now, you might know that Trump has really been talking about being a very pro-crypto or having a pro-crypto stance, and certainly his stance was much more powerful than his opponent. So that really made a lot of the crypto people very much behind him, and there were huge crypto contributions to his campaign because of that stance. The attack on crypto in the US over the last several years has been astounding, especially led by the SEC and its head, Gary Gensler. One of the very first things I'm sure we can all expect to see is Gary's departure, either on his own, or if he waits around, he will probably be fired on day one. So hopefully he gets the clue, moves on, and gets his cushy job in the corporate world. So will that make it better? Well, probably, because there's been a lot of lawsuits pretty much for every exchange and for many of the cryptos about breaking some laws that were even unclear. And rather than answer some of the questions from companies like Coinbase, one of the top exchanges, they chose to litigate. They would rather say, you're wrong and we'll teach you what you should be doing in court, rather than simply providing the rules. And the rules, of course, are changing. So that's one of the very first things I think we'll see. Also, on the IRS front, I did a video recently about this. There are many changes happening that were put into place and that will happen before Trump even takes office. And new IRS rules take effect on January 1st. So if you haven't done what you need to do to prepare yourself, or if you haven't been filing taxes normally, you do have one final chance before the end of the year to make good on this. It doesn't mean you have to pay all of the money owed, but you have to come up with a plan. So please take a look at my other video on tax planning before January 1st, and that way you can be ready for whatever you need to do to be on the right side of the law. Because the other thing the IRS will be doing is bringing on lots of new agents and using some AI profiling. So you might be able to hide now, but you won't be able to hide forever. So my advice is stay on the right side of the law. I'd rather pay a little money and keep my freedom. And I think you might as well. So another thing that's interesting is that not only is Trump pro-crypto, but an estimated 250 federal representatives between the Senate and the House of Representatives are believed to be and seen to be pro-crypto. Either they took crypto transactions or contributions, and or they've spoken about crypto in their campaigning, and they seem to be much more supportive than the administrations of the past and the Congress of the past. So I think there's a willingness now to find out and to stop battling it and to try to find a way to coexist with it. And of course, it's a risk to the power structure because they control the US dollar. They control the finances. So crypto is a risk to them, but there's an expression, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And I think this is going to be the approach for the US Treasury and other agencies to make sure that they stay on top of crypto and don't squelch it, because that's another issue. Over the last several years, most of the new crypto startups have not happened in the United States, which of course used to be home of lots of tech innovation with Silicon Valley. But Silicon Valley is slowing down more and more. Companies are realizing they don't have to be in that expensive California zip code. They can live or be anywhere, and many are virtual companies as well. So whether they're based out of Dubai or some other location, there's many options now. Another thing is, you may have noticed that as soon as Trump got elected, Bitcoin topped $75,000. It went from 70 to 75,000, and it's continuing to rise just a few days later. So I would expect that to continue. And I think there's some jubilance happening now in the crypto space. And we are in a bull market, so I think we're heading to the next leg of this bull. And what that will mean is we'll probably see all-time highs before the end of the year, before end of 2024, or certainly by the beginning of 2025. That's very likely, and that's how I'm looking at it. That's my scenario. Now, institutions will also play a role. Now that crypto is seen as more friendly, I think what we'll see is more and more companies being willing to invest in Bitcoin. We've already seen some financialization of Bitcoin by creating funds and trusts and futures and these kinds of things that Wall Street likes to, create these products so that they can, make lots of money. And at one point, it also is making it a little bit easier for institutions, certainly a lot easier, for them to invest, where it's more difficult for them potentially to invest directly in the coins and directly in Bitcoin and Ethereum and those, and rather they want to invest in instruments that they're used to. Again, these are things like funds and trusts and things along those lines. So I think we'll see more of that, and we'll also see more custody organizations. In other words, these investors, these institutions don't really want to hold and manage Bitcoin and risk that. They rather pay somebody to own it and have it insured. So there are companies like Coinbase and others that have this institutional branch or arm of their company, and they're getting into this kind of work as well, where they will manage the cryptos for those companies that own them directly. And you can imagine these trusts and these investment funds actually do hold a certain set of cryptos, and they can hold it themselves and take that risk, or they can pay someone. So I think we'll see more of that as well. Now, that doesn't take away the risks and the volatility. As exciting as all this is for the crypto world, and as important as the US market is in crypto because of the huge numbers of investors here in the US, it's very important to understand that the risks will continue. The volatility is likely to continue. Although there'll be more and more people coming into the market, I suspect, which will drive up price, Bitcoin price has never been linear. It's never just gone straight up. In fact, there's been massive swings up and down over and over throughout time. So we may see, Bitcoin hit 100,000 in the next few weeks or months, and it may come back to test the $75,000 level that happened right after the election, before likely going up and making new all-time highs. So that's likely to continue into 2025, where the peak is expected to occur in this 4-year cycle. So overall, I would say we're in a much more favorable environment now, certainly in the United States, and given that the US has a lot of influence across the world with its finances and its financial instruments, with technology, and certainly with the US dollar. So the US dollar is a critical part, actually, of the crypto infrastructure right now, because stable coins, which are coins that are pegged one-to-one with the dollar, are very, very popular. Rather than having to sell cryptos back to dollars and buy cryptos again, people hold this intermediate coin, and that's very, very important. It's actually one of the most traded coins, the USDT and the USDC. Those are two different cryptos that are stable and that are as stable as the US dollar, put it that way. So we're in really interesting times. My clients are very excited, and I'm starting to get a lot more calls about people who would like some private coaching, which I'm still providing. If you'd like more information, visit thebitcointutor.com. That's thebitcointutor.com for more information or to set up an appointment. Thanks for your time, and go crypto.